What's going on, guys? Welcome back to United View. Hope everyone is doing very well, having a great Wednesday, midweek settings, guys. And we've got a hell of a show for you this evening. We really do. I'm joined by a stellar panel of Faz and DJ. Hope you're doing well, guys. Before we get started, I know it's getting a bit redundant, repetitive, but we've always got to do a bit of housekeeping. Got to get a bit of housekeeping done, get it out the way. It's like getting your chores done. You know what I mean? When your parents say, you go, I want to play. I was going to date myself so much then. I was going to say like PS2. I want to play PS2 moment. She goes, you've got to tidy your room first. And that's what you've got to do here, guys, right? You can't have a bit of fun until we get the housekeeping out the way. So I checked before we went live. We are 228 subscribers away from 100K. Now, I did not stutter or misspeak there. 228, 228. So if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe. Bottom right-hand corner. While you're down there, click the like button as well. Super chats are also available too. You just click the $sign. We'll get your comment up on the screen. So exciting times, folks. Very exciting times. Now's the time. Like I said, I nearly got in trouble for this yesterday when Flex was here. And I said, we've got things planned for 100K, but I can't say what they are because I'll get fired. So, and I do I like doing these, so I'm not going to get fired. We'll talk about Erik ten Hag. We'll move on because I'm tempted. Erik ten Hag. Right, let's start with him. And the Manchester United board back in the prospective next manager over the players. A nice little change of pace here, guys. So this comes from Samuel Lucas of the Manchester Evening News, who has said that Manchester United are finalising their process of appointing Ajax coach Erik ten Hag as their manager, which we know, but they have not consulted the players for their views on the same. Now, you might say, why does that even matter? Well, consulting the players, right? What's going on with that? Well, he also reports that Cristiano Ronaldo vetoed Antonio Conte as the possible Manchester United manager back in October. The United hierarchy was not keen on Conte, and Ronaldo's own reservations about Conte were also fed back to the board. Manchester United also previously gauged Ronaldo's view on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I will go to you first, Faz. What are your thoughts on, first, the board not going to the players, going, what do you think about Erik ten Hag? And two, when Conte was available in October, Cristiano Ronaldo giving the Faz finger, going, no, don't like him.
That's very interesting that the board have actually decided to do that. It shows that we might be heading to a direction where player power won't be in place, where players won't be able to dictate who they want and what they want. It clearly shows as well that players had this ability in the first place, that they were able to dictate who they want, what they want, how they want to play, or XYZ. It's good that the board is trying to get control over their house, basically. Have some hierarchy system that you're the players, you're the employees, you do as we tell you to do, as it's supposed to be. And in addition to that, the board deciding with the manager that they want to stay for a while, they want a proper manager to come and coach these players. Somewhat refreshing, to be honest, especially considering yesterday we were talking about finances and Europe and everything. So I'm a bit surprised, but it's definitely refreshing.
It certainly is a bit refreshing. DJ, what are your thoughts on that story then? Is this the end of, they say it on social media, they Players FC, the inmates run the asylum at Manchester United, which, look, to be honest, it's a fair and valid criticism. We've seen it in the past, right? When the decision's there to be made, manager or players have won over the last decade. But is this maybe the beginning of the end of Players FC? If the board are going, look, we don't even care what you think about this manager, we're bringing him in.
Yeah, I think, as Faz said, it's a step in the right direction. I've never been a fan of player power. I think it's very toxic. And to be honest, if we look at this current crop of players, away from sort of it in general terms, but this crop of players, have they even earned the right to have a say on anything? I don't think they have. So I'm glad that, United haven't even consulted them about who's coming in. I think with this appointment, we've seen United do it the correct way. You interview your candidates and you select the best person for the job. There's no mates rates FC. There's none of that, jobs for mates or anything like that. They're trying to get the best candidate in. And I think, for the past 10 years, it hasn't worked. Whatever the board's done, it hasn't really worked. And I think now they're going to change tact, hopefully, and show us fans a little bit something different because we deserve it.
I think even the fact that, we're having this conversation identifies a massive issue at United over the last few years of like, isn't it surprising they didn't go to the players? Like, it's the manager. Who cares? Like, I'd be shocked almost if I was a player, regardless of how senior I was. If like if there was someone really high up in the club, went, what do you think about this manager? Should we bring him in? I'd be like, that's not my call. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, they tell me what to do. You know, you can't have that kind of situation going on. We've seen that. We've seen, and look, let's be honest, not to be super, super negative here, but it won't change, you know, those kind of things that we've seen all season. They don't like the training, or they're unsure about his methods, stuff like that. Is inevitable that will come out at some point next season, because it always has, right?
Yeah.
Or something like that will come out. But I do think it's a marked change of United just going, look, we've got to do something. We've got to do something. We've got to change our course when it comes to how we. Well, the structure. The structure's got to be in there for a reason, right, DJ?
Yeah, no, definitely. And I was just going to say, you know, many years ago, there's some Man United fans that might remember this. You know, slightly different, but Wayne Rooney walked into Sir Alex's office and asked, "Okay, so who are we signing in the summer?" And Fergie said, "None of your business," because it isn't any of his business, right? And we need to have that energy back at the club. There needs to be a certain protocol. There needs to be a certain etiquette. There needs to be a certain professionalism around. Like, I've never been a fan of, you know, managers reaching out to players and saying, "Oh yeah, we might be getting this person in the summer just to keep a person at the club." Like, nah, that shouldn't be happening at all. It should be really structured and rudimentary. And I think, you know, this board, they need to win us fans back over. So if they can start doing it the footballing way, in the right way, then we'll get behind that.
I want to say something. Maybe I'm looking at it too deep. Maybe I'm looking at it from a weird perspective. But has Ronaldo got a bit too much ego now? Because
that was going to be my question to ask you, Faz. Like that, if that
story's
right about Conte, if that story is accurate about Ronaldo when it comes to Conte, that in itself is
crazy.
A bit of an issue, is it not?
Yeah, I mean, Ronaldo slapping the phone of a fan like that as well, the way he did, that is very abnormal. Ronaldo, the way he acts on the pitch at times, you know, frustrated, walking off without clapping for the fans, away fans, home fans. That alone, see, we know how Sir Alex used to be. He would swear at the players and say, "Get out the bus and go and sign shirts. I don't care if you know who you think you are. You just lost the game as well. You're gonna go and spend a bit of time and sign some shirts." The way he's moving, or that aura that he's bringing right now, and I'm a bit, you know, I'm not fearful of picking him out, in all honesty. As much as I love him from the bottom of my heart, I'm not going to be fearful that, oh, he's CR7, I better choose my words right. But if he's acting like he's outgrown or outperformed or outachieved the club, mate, we need to get rid. There is absolutely no way. I don't care who you are, but you are still an employee. Why are you having a say as who the manager is going to be? Like, you might as well be the manager then, you know? Like, you might as well call all the shots then. What kind of thing is this? I know the board weren't keen on Conte, but this is still none of your business. You came here to play, do your job, and let the board do their job. Doesn't matter how much you disagree or whatever. His aura, his personality, the way he's moving, I'm finding a bit, you know, it's not fitting in with me, in all honesty.
Which is interesting, Faz, because yesterday you were quite pro about Ronaldo becoming
being the captain.
Yeah, as well.
Yeah, but
so does that change your opinion on that?
Certain thing. Look, he can still be a great captain. He can still be a great player. He can still be a great asset to the team. But you know, when you coming out on and doing things that is not within your kind of, you know, just for you not to do. It's not your position to do. It's not do your job. If you're a captain, do your captaincy job. If you're a player, be a good player, be a good teammate. But then what's going on with the coaching and the board deciding, especially the board deciding? I mean, you don't go and tell the board, okay, well, do this, and maybe like threatening, if you don't do this, I'm gonna leave. You know, I'm gonna go somewhere else. Like these type of things, yeah, that's very weird, and also it rubs off onto other players. That's probably the most important thing, is other players are seeing this happen and other players are going to pick up on it. Well, he's saying it, I better follow his lead and act like I don't like this manager's approach, or maybe I don't want Conte because Conte is very harsh as well, as you know, he's very outspoken. But no, if these players, who do they want? Like, you know, and then let's say the players decide on who they want. We give them who they want. They don't win nothing anyways. So you can do a captaincy's job, but stay within your role.
Yeah.
I mean, again, it's it's just fascinating, isn't it? Because, like you say, setting an example. You know, if he were the captain and he's going, no, I don't think we should get that manager. Like, again, what examples does that set? I think that whole Ronaldo situation there is pretty wild. I mean, DJ, how did we even get in this position where we're talking about players consulting about managerial appointments?
I think because there's, you know, a precedent's been set in our club of that players will always sort of like outlive a certain type of manager, which has been the case with us. It's just built up over time. This isn't something that's happened just overnight. Definitely been building up since sort of like Mourinho days. I think that's when it really did start. You know, players were really outspoken, then coming out in the press and, you know, talking about stuff that shouldn't really be spoken about. And, you know, it's been sort of like there's been a massive leak within the club since those days. You know, just on the topic of Ronaldo, you know, early on in the season, I was saying that he shouldn't be our main striker coming up. But I also said that I didn't like the petulant stuff. I didn't like the throwing up arms during the match. Yeah, be passionate. You're going to be upset, but keep it within the realm of football. Just, you know, the whinging, you know, I didn't really like, even though I wasn't Ollie's biggest fan towards the end. I didn't like when Ollie was, you know, trying to tell him, I can't remember what Ollie was, he was shouting an instruction and Ronaldo kind of mocked it. Like, I don't really like any of that. And even though he's Cristiano Ronaldo, who when I was 14 years of age, I said would be probably the best player in the world, and everyone laughed at me. Where are you all now? Yeah, literally, I just don't like it, Owen, and it's not a good example for the younger players coming up because, as Faz said, you know, other players, to them, he is a hero. It's like playing with like Michael Jordan. Do you know what I mean? You're playing with the big man, so players may even take bad habits off him. They may take bad traits off him. And what his job is as a senior player now is to actually guide the next generation of United players forward because he knows what it's about. He knows what winning is at this club, and he knows what it means to this club to be trying to get trophies every year, every season. So I'd like to see a little bit better from him. The whole phone incident, I was just disappointed. I think that's what it was, disappointed.
I would argue as well, like the player thing, player power probably even predates Mourinho too. I remember reading reports at the time when Louis van Gaal was in charge, and he would send, like, or his team would send emails to players about their training stuff and all that kind of stuff, and they wouldn't read them. And he'd go back in the meeting and go, "Did you read your email?" And they'd be like, "No." And then they had to put read receipts on them. So what did players do? Just open them and then not read them and all that kind of stuff. You know, it's almost like because for such a long period of time, the club was under such an authoritarian ruler in Sir Alex. The buck stopped with him. He was in charge of everything. You knew that nobody was bigger than him. And even he wasn't bigger than the club and all that kind of stuff. Like once that went away, I don't know. It's like, you know, kids at school that suddenly don't have a teacher. When the teacher leaves the room, they go crazy. You know what I mean? It's because they didn't have that freedom or their perceived freedom for so long that they kind of just went crazy. And then it's kind of just escalated and got worse and worse over time, like it's become the norm. But I mean, Faz, do you think then this is, you know, United backing the manager over the players finally?
I think it's definitely somewhat in the right direction. You know, when you give someone the power to lead your organization, you're supposed to communicate with that individual. You're not supposed to communicate with the employees or whatever. As much as, you know, you should get feedback, but you're still you put that person in charge to lead the organization. You're supposed to ask that person, how's this player doing? Okay, if this player is not performing well or such a, you know, you're supposed to have an open conversation. The players aren't supposed to go over the manager's head and then do things with the board or even disrespect the manager, let alone, you know, set emails that are not reading, blah, blah, blah. And we've been letting this stuff slide for too long. There needs to be, I keep reiterating and people seem to find it funny, but the hairdryer effect or the strictness and stuff, it needs to come back. The discipline side to all these players need to come back. We need to forget that whatever money they're on, we need to forget their age. We just need to treat everyone like just football players with extreme discipline. There's no, you know, oh, you get treated a bit nicer than such a person, whatever. Everybody gets disciplined. Anybody can get it. That's how I hope Ten Hag does. And I hope the board listen to him when he's giving feedback and you know, consider these things before we go out and start giving contract extensions and, you know, whatever. And that way we'll have a better structure going forward.
How easy is it to fix though, DJ? I mean, we can say these things about, you know, control needs to be back over the players, and you need to have somewhat of an authoritarian rule, I suppose, and all that kind of stuff. But how easy is it to fix for Ten Hag coming in? Like, if you're him, how do you stamp your authority immediately? What do you do?
I think from day one, this is what I would do. This is what I personally would do. I'd hold a meeting from day one with all the players, the squad, and I will say, look, I'm aware of some of the issues that's been happening before I've got into post. Just letting you guys know now that isn't going to run, and I'll make it very black and white. If you do not want to play in this side, if you cannot fit to the system, we will be looking for new clubs for you. Simple as that. You get played off merit. So if you're playing well, I will reward you with games. If you're not playing so well, we're going to take you out the first 11 and phase you back in slowly. That I would make it from day one. I'm not going to change the rules on the fly. I will set out my shop as I mean to go on. Like, I will say to them, that's what it's going to be, and that's how it is. If anybody doesn't like it, you can actually leave. It's fine. We're not holding anyone against our will, because we're trying to build something here. So we can't afford any passengers. We can't afford any bad eggs like there have been. We can't afford any of that. We can't afford any leaks or backbiting or bitching to friends who will then go to the press. That's all done, because literally 15 years ago, 20 years ago, that sort of stuff would only happen sort of once in a while with Man United. But it would be high-profile players like the Beckham incident or Stam. Like, they're very isolated incidents throughout.
The fact that you can name them,
exactly,
shows
right?
that it was rare.
There's been so many in this last year. I can't remember all of them. There's just so many. Like, there's just so many, and that's unprecedented for Manchester United. So if I'm him, I'm literally telling them what I expect and what my expectancy level is. If they cannot deliver that, that's fine. They will need to move on, and just be simple like that, black and white.
How would you stamp your authority, Faz? I mean, as I mentioned, like, it's a good thing in principle to say that, okay, I'm getting the backing of the board and it's not going to be Players FC anymore and all that kind of stuff. But how easy is it to fix? And how do you stamp your authority if you're Ten Hag?
It's all fine and good, what DJ is saying, that, this is what I'm going to do. If you're not doing it, it's not going to run. And I agree with it. But you have to make big calls straight away to really show these players that you mean business and not just words. Like, you really mean business. The captaincy, I would straight away strip that off Maguire instantly, because any football person in this world knows that he is not captaincy worthy at the moment. I don't even know if he ever will be. That is the biggest way you make a statement, because no manager has done it. Ole obviously slapped the band on him. Carrick wouldn't do it, and Ralph obviously won't do it. But since he's coming in and he's establishing his authority, he will have assessed the squad. He would have seen games. He would have had a report from Ralph. He would know who's performing, who's not performing, what type of characters in the dressing room. Take the captaincy off. You need to straight away say, you, not good enough. The way you played last season, you're not even starting. Pre-season and training, you better show me something, or else you're gone. I would straight away tell the players, whoever's in that squad, I'd go individually, have meetings with them and say, whatever you did last 2 seasons, shambolic. I don't even see you fit in my system. This is what this is the way I would like to play. This is the way you will play in this system. And if you can't show me in training, in pre-season, by putting in your effort and showing me that you can play in the system, you're gone. End of conversation. Forget about if your contract got extended. Forget about anything else. Forget anything. You're going to be benched. You're going to get minutes with under 23s. You're done. That's how I would establish authority. And if you start doing XYZ on social media, I say one thing, but then you don't come and talk to me, and you go and tweet something, or you go and say something on international break. Forget about it. You're gone. You're done. You're not playing. You're out the club instantly. Do not go over my head, and do not say something in the media that disrespects this club. Forget me, but disrespects this club. You have any issue, you come to me personally, you address it with me personally. Coach, let's have a word. But if you do this thing in public and blah, 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 and whatever, not happening. This frustration on the pitch, shouting and not clapping, saying bye to the fans, walking off, not signing shirts, none of this. All gone. You're not playing. I don't care. Even if you play good, you're not playing. This is the thing what we need to address. Even if you're playing good, if your attitude is wrong, you're not playing. End of discussion. I'll go get someone else.
Yeah, we need to bring the professionalism back. And I think it's been lost since honestly, since probably Sir Alex left, like we haven't had that professionalism in a long, long time. You know, just the normal basic professionalism as a Manchester United player that Fergie installed. We just don't have it.
So do you think it is a case of, you know, actions speaking louder than words then, DJ? Do you think that's how the best way to stamp your authority is maybe do a captaincy change? I mean, we kind of spoke about this yesterday, so I don't want to touch on it too much, but how realistic is that? Do you think Ten Hag would be willing to do that if he came in?
In terms of if it's realistic, it will be in the scope of him coming in as the permanent manager. Under Ralph, not so much, but because he's the permanent manager, he will have the power to do it, and he shouldn't feel any way by doing it. I do believe, though, we're trying to build something, so we're gonna have to ruffle a few feathers. There's gonna be players bent out of shape. There's gonna be players that are upset, but we have to go through those motions to get to where we need to get. Because at the end of the day, this is a United team that's lacked discipline. What do you mean you're letting flipping teams outrun you and stuff like that? Like, I can't even. That's just unfathomable to me. Like, that's crazy. So, you know, we need to get back who we are in the essence of the club. And I know obviously expectations are going to be sort of, you know, it's probably going to be rising as well as we do well. So yeah, I just think Ten Hag needs to come in. Exactly what Faz says. You're gonna have to make some big calls on a few key decisions that even as fans we're still discussing. Like, should Ronaldo be the starting striker? Should Martial be? There's a lot to sort out. So he's got big calls to make. And based off those calls, we'll see if he's got the stomach for this.
I also want to say as well, I think every player in the squad has somewhat fallen out of love with the club.
Yeah.
I think that's every player. From De Gea to Ronaldo to the bench, every player, there's at least some percentage of love that's gone out for the shirt because that's how they play. I would also, as much as be ruthless, as a manager, you want to build that relationship between the player and yourself, build that trust, and also make them love the club again. Make them really, you know, understand that, look, you still, at the end of the day, you're going to be here, you're playing for this club. Learn to love the club again. Learn to love football again. Do it for you. I said it before in one of the fan cams when I was having a go at Rashford. Do it for yourself. Each and every player. You came this far. You're probably not 1% of people who play football. You came this far to play at the highest level. Learn to love football again. Go and perform for yourself. Put a shift in for yourself. Do it for your career. And learn, you know, just get that love and passion back. And then the discipline aspect as well.
Absolutely. And, you know, rebuild that relationship. Not that the relationship's broken with the fans and the players or anything like that, but there's certainly a bit of resentment there because of what they've seen over the last few years. And I don't think it's too difficult to build that relationship back, honestly. I think it's just a case of working hard. Anyway, every fan will get behind people that are working hard, but sometimes we just don't see that at the moment. I do want to talk about Ten Hag and his assistant, because this is a big thing we've been talking about recently, Faz, when it comes to him bringing his assistant with him to Manchester United. So Laurie Whitwell from The Athletic is reporting that Erik Ten Hag wants to bring Mitchell van der Gag with him from Ajax when he joins. Now, there have been rumours and discussions and reports about Steve McClaren. Laurie Whitwell is reporting that Steve McClaren has also spoken to Erik Ten Hag about Manchester United. However, there is not thought to have been any contact from the club about a role as of yet. So, Faz, how important is it that he brings his assistant with him and his coaches with him, and, you know, possibly obviously replacing the people that are already there, but not just getting there and then having to search for coaches? How is it important that we get Ten Hag and his team too?
I'm all for it. 100%. Make it happen. Whatever you need. Sign the contract. Whoever it is, goodbye. You can go. Whoever Ten Hag needs, bring him. If you want your assistant from Ajax, let's bring him. There's no questions asked. I want a clean, full, brand new backroom staff. And actually, it makes sense. He's already working with him. He's been working with him since, is it last season or something like this? They've got a good relationship together. They're doing well in their league together. Bring him. And it'll be better for him coming into a new environment to have someone who he trusts already and has a working relationship with him already currently. So it makes absolutely perfect sense.
DJ, what do you think about Ten Hag bringing his assistant with him? Because the other reports are also that it's not just Ten Hag that's highly sought after around Europe, it's also his assistant, which could be possibly an issue. But how important is it that we don't just get Ten Hag, but we get his team as well?
Yeah, get his team and bring them in. Exactly what Faz says. You know, they've been working together, doing really well in their league, in the Eredivisie. So bring him in. And I think as much talent as you can get on the coaching side of his team, the better, because this is where we build strong foundations. And I want a full clear out. Honestly, I do. Chris Armas can go. Chris Armas is the one that holds the iPad all the time. And he's got the little earpiece, right? That's him. I think that's him. Yeah,
it's Chris Armas, yeah.
He can go. Mike Phelan, thank you, but there's the door. I want everybody gone. Clean. Only Ten Hag and his team coming in and occupying the dugout. That's what I want. That's what I want as a fan, because we need, if we're talking about refresh and rebuild, that's part of it as well. Refresh everything.
King of the Indie says, RBO, where's the source in the pronunciation? Oh, you're going to make me try and do the pronunciation again. The problem is why I don't want to keep doing it is because I got it right once and I probably won't get it right again. I think I got that Eric wrong as well. So Erik ten Hag. Nailed it. Yeah.
It's all right.
All right. Ronaldo says 791 watching, more than that now, over 800 people watching, only 76 likes, guys. Oof, that ratio is not. Who
is
not
in
great.
here with their shoes on? What's going on?
I know exactly. There's mud all over the house. It's
no.
terrible. Oh.
In the
and
fridge.
we did housekeeping at the start. You're not going to be able to play on your PS2. Do your chores, okay? Super chat from United Channel says, I seriously think these newspapers will write anything and fans will believe sometimes. It's good to use your head. I don't believe the Ronaldo veto story. I always say this, and I appreciate the contribution, United Channel, that with any story, use a critical mind, do the old wine tasting test, swirl it around your mouth a bit. Do you get any top notes? Do you get any low notes? Do you get any hints of bullshit when you're doing your wine test or whatever?
I have no idea about wine.
Nor do I. I don't even like it. I don't even like it. But I just, this is
Mountain Dew for me. I know how Mountain Dew tastes.
Do you do a Mountain Dew test as well? Do you go, I'm not sure if I'm feeling this flavor? You know what I mean? Do the flavor test. There we go. Well, a bit better one. Do the flavor test and come to your own conclusion. I always say that. Sometimes it's true. Sometimes it's not. As always with media, it's probably somewhere in between. There's probably elements of truth. It's panning for gold. I've used about 3 analogies there. WJ Barrett says, Ollie effed this club over for 3 years. If you think, I think you'll be surprised next season. We'll be better with a preseason, a shadow striker, central defensive midfielder, centre back, and Erik ten Hag as a permanent boss. Certainly, it's going to be interesting. And reportedly, he would start. I think they were saying like July 1st or something like that, or July 5th, just days before we go on the preseason tour, which again always makes you think like he's going to have to be planning that preseason whilst he's at Ajax. You know what I mean? He'll have to. I do want to ask you though, Faz, when we talk about coaching staff, because obviously we hear that they want to bring his assistant with him. There have been rumors about ex-Reds possibly joining him, ex-players, ex-Dutch players. I mean, what do you think about that? Are you open to that if, say, he has his assistant with him, or if he doesn't have his assistant with him and they go, okay, Steve McLaren is your assistant, does that worry you?
I want him to be with someone he's comfortable with, not someone he's worked decades ago. I would rather, it just makes more logical sense to have an assistant coach who he's already got a very good working relationship with, has been enjoying success with, fits into his style of play, his ethos, his mentality, his personality. It just makes more sense. In terms of other coaches or ex-Reds or whatever, no, I don't want to. If we're going to do that, really, we might as well go and, after what Wayne Rooney said, we might as well go and give him the job. It just doesn't make sense to give Erik ten Hag who he wants to work with, and go off that. Just don't attach anyone else. I don't like... Respectfully, anyone who's done great things for United, whatever, it doesn't matter. Just don't attach anyone that will not fit in with Erik ten Hag. Simple as.
Do you think the DJ, or the club maybe stressed too much importance on the ex-player being involved, or the person that has got Manchester United experience? Do you think they put too much on that?
Yeah, once upon a time, I believed into kind of what they said, but, it's tried and tested and that still didn't work. So for me, I kind of want to get away from everything that is quote unquote traditional with Manchester United. I'd rather have a nice revamp and start a new culture, start a new dynasty at this club. So that will have to be brand new people coming in and winning. And I think we all kind of get sort of like tied back with, the Man United way and all stuff like that. And when we talk about the Man United way, for me, that was just an error in time for me. It's just an error of Manchester United in time. This is a whole new sort of what's the word I'm looking for? Monarchy at Man United. We need to have Erik ten Hag in there with the people that he feels most comfortable with. And I'm pretty sure, you know, maybe even tonight he's on the phone with is it Van der Gag? On the phone with Van der Gag, just speaking to him and saying, hey, look, I really need you, man. Could you come over? And I'm pretty sure it might happen. I'm pretty sure it's going to happen. And if he does come over, that just bodes well for us going forward.
He's probably going to be telling him, look, this is what they've offered me. Yeah. They've told me I'll have control. They've told me I've got 4 years. You know, they've told me these are the players that I could possibly look into. These are the positions that we need to improve in. You know, they've told me about Alvaro Fernandez in the left back position. They've told me all these things, and Ralph is there as well. We'll get on with Ralph. Let's continue this and let's go build something instead of you going and doing something in Europe and me going alone, having to set up with someone else. We've had a great working relationship. You know, come in. Let's build something here. So that might actually that might interest Van der Gag and bring him.
I'm not against the idea of bringing someone in that maybe has been at United or all that kind of stuff, as long as, like you said, Faz, if that's what he wants. If that's what he wants and if that's what he feels he needs, then give him what he wants, give him what he needs, right? If he feels like, if it is Steve McLaren and he goes, well, it's because I worked with him in the past and he does know United, I think he would be valuable to me. Give him what he wants. If it's a United mandate, that's where I'm a little bit less comfortable with it. You know what I mean? If it's United saying to him, well, we think that you'd be better off if you had Robin van Persie with you because he played in the Premier League and he played at United. He gets what he's all about. Because if I'm a manager, I'm going, well, you're telling me that I'm not perfect for this job already. You know what I mean? You would take it as somewhat of a little bit as, well, you don't think that if you don't think I'm the right guy, don't hire me. That kind of situation, right? So I don't have a problem with it. I think, so for instance, like Brian Kidd, Man City, who was a coach of Manchester United as well, is a great example. When Roberto Mancini came in, he came in with his own assistant, but Brian Kidd was there to ease him in, right? Because he knew Man City as well. But again, you never know. And I think he spoke Italian, or David Platt came in as well. So all that kind of stuff. If it's what the manager wants, it's one thing. If it's like, again, if it's the club, then I'm a bit like, I don't necessarily know how I feel about that. When it does come to Ten Hag, though, DJ, do we need to be a bit realistic here? Because obviously a lot of people are excited, and as they should be, you know, positive steps, positive directions, all that kind of stuff. But immediately you have people talking about, oh, how long is it going to take before we win the title and stuff like that, which just seems crazy considering where we are right now and who's ahead of us. Do we need to be realistic about the future? And do we need to be realistic about, say, next season when it's with Ten Hag, that, look, there's times it could be painful next year?
Yeah, and, you know, I think it's nice to have, you know, someone talented as himself coming in, fresh ideas, attacking style and attacking football and all of that good stuff. But the reality is he has to work through a list of issues with this club. And that is, he's going to have to sell some players. He's going to have to buy some players. And that takes time in itself. Because of the way our wages are structured, it's going to take time. So for me, and everyone else, guys, just relax when he comes in. I'm going to step back and let the man work. I'm not. Faz said it the other day. I'm not going to judge this season that he comes in. If he overachieve, amazing. But I'm just going to sit back and I'm going to see what he does in terms of he's got to build the style back up into this team. He's going to have to, you know, get rid of players, as I said, bring players in that's going to fit that style. Some players might be unhappy, so he's going to have to do a lot of firefighting with that. There's so much that this man's got to contend with coming in because it's been broken on so many levels. Then it's almost the season coming up. Like next season, we just write it off and just say, look, he's going to have to clear out and embed an ethos, because if some of these players are still here, these are the same players that were afraid to run. Rangnick tried to get them to do a style of play. They threw it out the window. So it's all about kind of how they're going to react to him and how he's going to react to them. And if there is going to be some form of like mutual understanding between the two. If not, then we're going to be in for a long one. It's going to be a long one.
What do you feel about that, Faz? I mean, we spoke about this yesterday, but do we need to be realistic when it comes to next season and how long this job is truly going to take? Because I think it's one thing, it's easy to say, oh yeah, we don't worry, we're not going to judge him next season, all that kind of stuff. If it does get bad next year, there are going to be people that it's inevitable, isn't it, that have that reaction of like, this isn't good enough and all that kind of stuff. Do we have to be realistic? Do we have to take a step back and like, no, next season might be quite bad too?
There's light at the end of the tunnel, but I can't see the light just yet. I need to see him in action. I need to see the players actually have like, oh, okay, Wan-Bissaka can do this. Oh, okay, McTominay can do this. Then I can say, okay, we're going into a right direction. And then you can set somewhat of expectation. I have absolutely no expectation. I don't know why people are baffled when I say I'm okay if we come 8th or 9th. I'm actually okay. Like, I have no expectation of Europe. I have no expectation of making it
It's
out
easy
of
to
group
say though,
stage.
Faz, that isn't it?
No,
It's easy to
serious.
say.
Serious. I have no expectation of making out of group stages, getting knocked out in thinking, because this thing is a long process. There is so many players that he will probably want to get rid of, or if he can't get rid of, we'll have to teach his style of play. He'll have to install fitness, running, like DJ just said. Ralph literally tried to make them run. He's the godfather of gegenpressing, and he couldn't make these people run. He himself couldn't make these players run. So it's going to take time to install, to get the players to believe in you. Like, look, I'm not going nowhere. I'm not a substitute teacher, and I'm not going to babysit you. I'm not going nowhere. You've got to put the shift in. Simple as. And it takes time to build that resilience within the players as well. What is realistic and what is unrealistic? What do you want Erik ten Hag to do in the first season? Me personally, just get a good run of games. Maybe string 4 wins together. Maybe do a little bit. Maybe not lose to Middlesbrough. Maybe
Style
work
of play.
on finish. Yeah, maybe improve on our set pieces. Get some good goals from set pieces. Maybe improve our passing from the back a bit. Just things like that. Then the second season, I can really say, okay, let's have a go at maybe a domestic cup. Let's try and get to the quarterfinals of Europe if we're in Europe. Then I set my expectation accordingly. And then the third season, I would say, okay, let's try and win something now. But the first season, you cannot expect anything from him at all, considering how we've played. I mean, I've said it before. He might be like Expelliarmus and come and all of a sudden magically change some of the players and change the form of some of the players. But I do not see it happening. Fleck said it in the Everton game as well. After the Everton game, I don't see things changing. Not anytime soon. Preseason is very important, but so is the transfer window and then installing the ethos into the players.
What are you looking to see then, DJ, next season? If it is going to be a bit of a painful one, like Faz says, are you just looking for something next season? Maybe it's not results, but maybe it is a style of play. Maybe it is an improvement on certain players. What are you looking for next season, do you think?
I'm looking to see what business he does in the summer, because I think that will indicate a lot of how we're going to play. And once those players come in and see we actually need to see who leaves, then I'm going to be looking at the style of play. If I see a clear system that these players are utilizing game from game, and they're getting better at it, then that fills me with optimism. Like, I'll be very optimistic with that. I'm like, yep, we can go and do something. So yeah, I'm just literally just looking at style of play next season, who comes in, who goes out, and see kind of how he can get these players kicking ball, really.
I do want to talk about something else briefly, and then we will circle back to Erik ten Hag. I want to talk about this possible reform or change to Champions League qualification. Now, I don't know if any of you guys have seen this. These are quite controversial plans by UEFA when it comes to Champions League qualifying. So UEFA are planning to offer 2 Champions League wildcards from 2024 onwards. Now, this is expected to be ratified at the UEFA Exco meeting next month. Now, what are these wildcards? Well, these would be given to clubs if they don't qualify either in the top 4, top 3, or whatever the qualification places are in their league. Now, what would determine these wildcards? Historical success in Europe would be key to gaining a wild card. Now, some Premier League clubs fear it's introducing a form of a European Super League by the back door. And the Big Six in England could all qualify for the Champions League if they finish in the top 6 places. Premier League anti-breakaway owners charter dropped off the agenda. Extra Champions League place via the FA Cup is hugely unpopular outside the Big Six. So what this could mean, and it's not going to affect Manchester United, so we're not going to qualify for the Champions League season or next season or anything like that. Don't get your hopes up or anything like that. But it would be based on historical champions or European success when it comes to UEFA. Now, this is what is crazy about it. So say they were using the UEFA club coefficients. Manchester United are ranked 9th in the UEFA club coefficient over the last 10 years, right? To put that into perspective, Liverpool are ranked 14th. Arsenal are ranked 11th. Tottenham are ranked 19th. That's pretty wild, considering that basically we could have a season like we do now and still be qualifying for the Champions League, because apparently our record in Europe is historically pretty good. But you look at it when it comes to the Champions League, when? Since what, in the last decade? Definitely not. So, I mean, Faz, what do you think about this?
Bullshit. It's a bunch of bullshit. It's a way of trying to get the big clubs in there to have more, like Super League environment and make more money out of licensing. It's just, yeah, it's bullshit. And us as fans, I'm not accepting it. I like the structure that it is. It's fair. It's fair for everyone. You get a certain position in the league, you go to the group stage, knockout, and go up like that. It's fair. It's been going on for how long? It's worked perfectly fine. Why are we changing something? Why are we trying to fix something that's not broken? It's just a way for UEFA to make money.
Is that what you think, DJ? Is this a European Super League light, or sort of a backdoor way of doing the Super League via UEFA?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the criteria for teams to get into the Champions League, from what they're saying, that's absolutely madness. It's not about what you've done today. It's about what you did 20 odd years ago, or 10, 15 years ago. Like, I think it's just silly, to be honest. I'm in favor of just keeping it how it is. And to say the top 6 going to the Champions, nah, just forget it, man. Just keep it how it is. I just don't know. They're trying it. Just try
Yeah,
it.
I mean, it's like they said, it's expected to be ratified next month. I would hope that all of the Premier League clubs and clubs across Europe, we say the wildcard thing, it might not necessarily be just Premier League clubs, but the biggest clubs in the world are from the Premier League. But it's a massive concern. I think the fact that Manchester United are that high on that UEFA coefficient is kind of madness. Again, the only success we've had in the last decade when it comes to Europe has been Europa Leagues. We got to a Europa League final a couple of seasons ago, and and also we won the Europa League a few seasons back too. But when it comes to Champions League, I mean, like, I don't want to put United down, but like the fact that we're higher than Liverpool have won the Champions League in recent seasons. They've got to the final in recent seasons. They're probably going to get to the final this season as well, and yet we'd be ranked higher than that. And I mean, Faz, would it also I guess reward failure, right? It's sporting integrity, is it not? Because this season, we spoke about it here on the channel, Man United do not deserve to qualify for next year's Champions League. If they were to be like, oh, actually, no, you're going to get a wild card, you'll be in next year's Champions League. What does that mean for sporting integrity?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly right. There's no point of competing. There's no point of even working hard. Our players are already as they are. And then they think, well, we're going to make Europe anyways. And in terms of other aspects of things, player transfers, a lot of players come in, a lot of players go out based on, whether your club makes Europe or whether your club doesn't make Europe. And there's budgeting involved, there's financing, there's fans, there's ticket, all this stuff involved. It just messes up the whole system in total. And it's just not fair at all. How are you going to judge someone? I mean, you've had underdogs do really well. Villarreal have just smacked out Bayern out the Champions League. The holders just smacked them out. It doesn't. So how would you even justify that? Yeah, it doesn't make sense to me at all. It's just a way of making money.
Because you could also have a situation where, say Man United have a terrible season, they finish 6th, and Leicester finish 5th. You could have a situation where United get in the Champions League for a wild card and Leicester don't, even though Leicester finished higher. Like, how is that fair, DJ?
It's just not fair. And there's going to have to be some pushback on this. I just think it's just messing up the integrity. I think no team should have a divine right, I'm guessing, to go into the Champions League. And it's based off, as I said, things you've done 20, 30, whatever, how many ever years ago. Like, I think it shouldn't even come into it, to be honest. It should be about the here and now and what teams are doing here and now. Yeah, and I like the fact teams have to work hard to get into the Champions League. I like that, and I like it to continue that way.
What if Villarreal go and win the Champions League?
Then they're not in it the next year or whatever.
They'll be in the next year, won't they? Because you get in. Do you get a bone? Or I don't know if you do anymore. Actually, you used to, but I'm not sure if you even do anymore as well. I didn't know the rules, and this was going to be my next point. Is that because this is what some people push back on? They go, "Well, football evolves," and look, competitions do evolve. I remember. I mean, people older than myself remember. Well, I remember when it wasn't the Champions League. I remember when it was the European Cup, and it was just like the best. It was the winners of all the leagues faced off against each other. I remember when I was younger, when it was, you got out of the group stage in the Champions League, and then you went into another group. There was like a second group stage and all that kind of stuff. Remember when it was just like 4 groups in the Champions League? Like, it does evolve, and I'm not trying to sort of stamp on evolution of the game, but this isn't evolution from my perspective of like, oh, we're trying to make the competition better. It's like, well, no, you'd rather, from UEFA's perspective, have Man United in there because a Man United game will make you more money. More people will watch a Man United game. But the fact is, if you don't play well enough, you don't deserve to be in there. That's the point of sport. You're competing at the end of the day. It's to see who's the best. It's to win. And once you start handing out things for not winning or not being the best, that's when that's no longer sport. It's a show at that point.
Show.
You know?
Exactly.
And that's just, to me, seems wrong. I mean, again, Faz, like they reckon it might get ratified next month, but do you think it actually gets put through?
No, it's unfair. There's too many like small clubs that make it into Champions League and do well. You know, look at the history of Champions League. It's all about fairness so far, and it's all about, you know, underdogs doing well and going far. No, it's just it kills the game fully to what we know. This whole system of even thinking, oh, okay, will my team even qualify even though we come 5th? You know, no, I'm totally against it. Fans and a lot of teams will be against it
because the Champions League is changing as well. It must be said. It's changing now where it's going to become like one big league, and then everyone kind of plays each other. And even with that, like, I mean, I saw some people weren't necessarily happy about that. But again, I looked at it as, wow, if that's the competition, the way that it goes, it goes. I'm like, everyone hates change. I understand that as well. And, you know, because like kids nowadays, if they never know that to be any different, they might be like, well, I love the Champions League because they all play each other, all that kind of stuff. It's what we know. But once it gets into the sort of avenue of, you just go in because you're Man United, or you go in because you're Chelsea or whoever. Nah, that's not for me. Abub says, while I agree it is nonsense, clubs are justified in being compensated based on the amount of money they bring in. Which again, some was one of the things of the Super League saying that, you know, that we bring in the most money and all that kind of stuff. But you have to remember also that they bring in the most money based on what they did in the past in terms of performance. They won a lot in the past. So again, you can't just, that happened in the past. They used to win a lot in the past. They don't win now, but they used to in the past. Now, well, this modern team's building their own legacy. Like, again, that's sport. That's how it works. Nate H says, I want all the ex-players to shut up and Eric Ten Hag cook. Let's go back to Ten Hag. Good segue there. I want to talk about Guillaume Balaguer. He put out a report today, which is quite fascinating, who said that the majority of the decision makers at Manchester United had favourable words to say about Mauricio Pochettino, his tactics, his development of players, and how he represents the clubs he's managed. But others considered his achievements insufficient and told Richard Arnold so. This continues. This is the real big bit. The Glazers were eventually more impressed with the CV of Ajax manager Erik ten Hag and confused by what Mauricio Pochettino had done at PSG. Pochettino has spoken to Ed Woodward at least 3 times in the past few years, and he knew he was seen as the ideal candidate by Sir Alex Ferguson and some of the former players with whom Chief Executive Richard Arnold talks regularly. DJ, what do you make of that? With the Glazers being like, we were actually more impressed by Erik ten Hag's CV, and we're kind of confused by what Poch has been doing at PSG.
You know what? I was just thinking, do they even know who Erik ten Hag is? Do they even know who the man is? Like, literally, like, and for me, I do believe that bit in terms of they're probably like talking about Poch. It's like a football casual thing to say. Like, it's such a football casual thing to say, you know? But for me, they made the right decision, and I don't think it was them who made the decision. They just signed off and said, yeah, great, do it. You know, if like when you're young, your mum's busy or whatever. Mum, go get ice cream. Yeah, go get one. Go get it. It's fine. I'm busy. Go. That's how I reckon it was. Yeah. So the Glazers, I'd like to, in terms of this article, I'd like to take them out of it. They just signed off on it, but they've got the right man. In my opinion, they've got the right man. They've got the right man for the job anyway. So
I would like to point out this exchange that just happened in the free seats because it's just tremendous. So KG's in the chat, big up KG, who said Faz with the elite hairline. So that starts
good,
there.
Is it what? Okay. Is it?
Yeah.
Is KG feeling it? Or KG, are you taking shots because you don't want that? You don't want that smoke, KG.
Well, I will continue. I will continue, Faz, because Leon goes, "How is your hairline, KG?" And KG responds with, "Dead, Leon."
I have the best hairline in the whole of United View community. So I don't know what, they can argue between themselves, but my hairline speaks for itself.
KG should have just said his hairline was Ten Hag. That's what he should have just said. That's it.
KG's trendsetter. Paul Pogba copied his look. Ten Hag.
He did, didn't it? Yeah, they copied him.
Exactly. It makes
KG
me
has
laugh
a weird relationship. KG has a weird relationship with his barber, to be honest.
Non-existent.
He doesn't have one. Yeah.
Hey, careful. Who'll go HR?
Oh, he's gone a long time ago. I think he went a long time ago when we were looking, we were going after Haidara and he called him hairdryer. And I said, oh, he's just because he wants to say the word hairdryer. He's never said it before.
No, I don't want to fall into the Owen category of bullying KG. KG's elite.
Look, he says, look, you do Faz. It's elite. And he says it was praise. It was praise.
I don't know why. I just feel like in the background he's dropping bombs as he's trying to say things.
But now that I know he's watching, I will get backlash. I'll get backlash for that hair comment. We'll move on. Faz, what do you think though when it comes to some of the ex-players and some of the Manchester United hierarchy did like Pochettino, but Richard Arnold basically went, no, I don't feel him. What does that say about Richard Arnold?
It's all a bit weird and confusing to me, in all honesty. Like, even Sir Alex saying he's favouring Poch. He's like, I've heard it somewhere, and even me personally agree. Like, just needs to stop. Like this Sir Alex getting involved now at this point. He made the call with Moyes as well, and then he tried to sabotage this deal and tried to get Poch in at one point. He just needs to stop. He needs to stop. Players not Poch's CV is dead as it is. In all honesty, it's dead. Poch don't know how to build anything. He couldn't do anything in PSG. He's done nothing in Tottenham, in my opinion. Tottenham still, just a filler team. Yeah, but Richard, I don't know. I actually don't know. Glazers going with Ten Hag and believing in Ten Hag, it's weirdly refreshing. I wouldn't like to say it as much as I'm, Glazers or whatever, but it's a bit refreshing. And with Arnold's situation, I don't even know. It baffles me more than anything. It confuses me.
Yeah, I think when it comes to the Richard Arnold stuff, because look, we've heard some of the right noises, shall we say, when he goes, look, I'm not an expert. I want to delegate, and I want to have people around me, football decisions. Like we said at the beginning, when it comes to the Ten Hag thing, look, actions speak louder than words. So he has been there this whole time. He was under Ed Woodward. Whilst everyone's their own person, we'll have to wait and see when it comes to that. But yeah, when it comes to Poch, though, briefly, DJ, again, is it difficult to judge him on the PSG situation? Is that a poison chalice?
Yeah, it is. It is a bit difficult to judge him. PSG, the way that club is set up, it's so, I wouldn't use the word toxic, but it's very political, I should say. Very, very political. And, if we're not careful, we could fall into something like that. We're like halfway there already. But I think with Poch, I think he did do some good stuff with Tottenham. He made them a bit more relevant. But what I think the Glazers have done is just looked at the what's the word? Popular test. They've seen who's more popular on social media. So then they've gone
maybe
with 10
Price as well.
Yeah, but that's the thing. I saw a conflicting report saying that the compensation for Poch, it wouldn't be an issue. So, and that came out sort of like towards the end of negotiations, I'm guessing. So I think they just went with the popularity contest. They said, yeah, Ten Hag is the one that gets the most clicks online. Let's get him, because then it gives the fans something to be happy about. So I think don't be. I wouldn't be so fooled yet to think that the Glazers are on our side of things. I think they had their own sort of agenda. I think our agenda and their agenda aligned, so they went, yeah, Ten Hag. That's what I think.
Nate H says KG's hairline is like Maguire's defending, non-existent. Man, it's getting brutal. I apologise, KG. This was not my intention.
So you started.
I'm such a bully. That's the issue, isn't it? I'm such a bully. Let's finally talk about Paul Pogba. There has been this weird rumour on social media today, which again, I have not seen the report, so I'm not sure where it's kind of come from, but it's like rumors like, oh, Man United are going to offer Paul Pogba $500K a week to stay and all this kind of stuff. Again, I have not seen that. So I must say, like, I really don't buy it. But just to sort of finish off, Faz, do you think Pogba's going to stay?
I don't. Why?
It was a very pregnant pause you gave there, Faz. It was very dramatic. It was
Yesterday, I read his
I thought you took the glasses
uh,
off again.
his people are speaking to PSG. They've already started talks. Today, I'm hearing 500. If Manchester United give Paul Pogba 500 a week and keep him, I'm done. I'm finished with this club. I'm finished. We are exactly the Woodward virus, not the corona. The Woodward virus is existing in the club. If we give Pogba an extension and give him whatever he asks for, even if we give him 250 a week, let's say, in for argument's sake, whatever money, if we just keep him, we haven't learned our lesson at all. At all. I don't want to bad mouth or swear or whatever, but that would really piss me off. We need to cut our losses. We need to learn to just get rid when the player wants to leave, when the player's not fitting in. He's 29 years old, an elite caliber of player that I used to think would do good, who hasn't done good. Thank you very much for your services. See you later. What's this 500 a week? Why not get someone else? It's just, please don't depress me, please. Today's been a good day. The weather was nice. Please don't depress me. Don't depress me.
Well, reportedly, DJ, look, that 400k has been on the table since the summer. But even at this point, considering what he's done this season, what United have done, or even United, so should they be sort of reconsidering, actually, that is a lot for what you're offering, mate?
United need to take the bloody hint. The man does not want to be here. If he wanted to be here, that would 400,000, mate. He would have signed that like that, literally like that. He would have signed it like that. He doesn't want to be here. And if we're being honest, our relationship with Paul Pogba has been strained. Various reasons, agent stuff going on, him speaking out on international duty all the time. I will allow him the time when he speaks about mental health. I'm not including that. I'm talking about the other times. It's over. The relationship's done. Let's not hang on. Just let the man go. Let him go. Let him go and be happy. Let him finish his career in France, and that'll be that.
Under what basis would United even want to keep him?
You can't justify it.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, they can't justify it. There's no justification for it. We don't even understand. If they do actually go and make that call, then I have no faith in the board at all. Then we just we're idiots. We're a bunch of fools. We're a bunch of nobodies. We're not a big club. We're just a club with a bunch of money. And when we're just giving players whatever they want, just because of their name, just because of their agents or whatever, yeah, we're done. Then there is no power over contract negotiation. And this is, actually, this is the perfect time to stop giving out these contracts. Stop giving out anything above 200, 250 max. Stop giving them out. Only De Gea and Ronaldo are, or maybe even Sancho, who are on 300 odd plus. Other than just any new players, any new signings, don't give him. Do not give him big bucks at all.
What if he sees that Eric Ten Hag's coming in fast and he goes, actually, no, I would want to play under Eric Ten Hag. I think that he could, I think we could win things under Ten Hag, and I think I could develop my game. Would that change your mind at all?
I know what you're doing. You're doing what Flex did with me that day.
I'm not. Hey, I'm asking questions.
You and Flex must have had a conversation. Do this too fast. Maybe he'll get. I'm going to HR. I want HR.
Do you not think it's a possibility?
No,
do you not think it's a possibility?
He's 29 years old. There are a lot more younger talent, cheaper talent, better talent that we can add value, who can add value to the club, for the future as a build. Let's get them. Let's get these 30, 29-year-old, 32-year-old, 37, whatever. Let's slowly filter them out. Let's go on a build phase. His time is done. He's not done nothing here. He's had his emotions with United have been so roller coaster. If he wanted to sign, if he loved the club, he would have signed anyways. There were talks of him going back to Juventus at one point. There were now talks of him going to PSG. I don't actually think he even loves the club. As much as I rate him as a player, I think he's a high caliber player. He's won the World Cup, great player, but I don't actually think he loves the team. He just wants to go wherever he just can have more time to go do fashion shows or whatever. I don't know. Maybe he fits PSG because he'll be in France and there's loads of fashion shows and designers and this, that, maybe. But other than that, he doesn't love any club. Let him go.
Sule says, time to move on. Only thing he did was win in the Europa League. # by Pog. Yeah, DJ, I didn't realize KG actually just tried to call me. So if KG, call me again. Okay, call me again. DJ, do you think, though, that 400k is a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot for a player.
What could justify it? Could it be the Pogba brand? Could it be shirt sales? Could it be likes? Or do we need to stop being run like that?
Not for me. Not for me in the slightest. And if I was any teammate of his, I'll be pissed off with that, because the man, he's been a bit part player for us most of these seasons. He's shown flashes of brilliance here and there, but not at sustained, level. He's had a big injury nearly every season that keeps him out for a very, very long time. And for 29 years of age, paying 400,000, nah.
KG, what's going on?
Hi, I just calling.
What are you calling about?
I've got some issues that I want to take up. I took some unnecessary shots. But I was praising his hairline, and all of a sudden, he started talking about my barber. Someone said my hairline's moving like Maguire. I'm not happy. I'm not going to lie. DJ was involved. I ran it all down. Remember, I'm taking notes.
Listen, I retract. Listen, if it was a praise, I retract it, because when you type, it can come across different, and it can come across like sarcastic. So it's nice, cool.
KG Faz says he retracts it if it was a positive thing. He didn't mean it, all that kind of stuff. So that's Faz.
It could have been sarcastic.
He said it could have been sarcastic.
It was nuts, because you lot said that I've never had a haircut. You lot said I've got a bad relationship with my barber, and you lot know I don't go to the barber shop. That's like laughing again. The last that laughed at someone's hairline was Chris Rock. I mean, what happened to him?
Did you just suddenly threaten violence against me, by the way? On street?
No, it sounded, well, it won't be me that, you always have to send in your other half, right?
Right.
But then again, KG has the best beard out of all of us, no?
Yeah, Faz has just said you've got the best beard out of all of us, so you're getting compliments.
Expect my wife to be there.
Right. So your wife is going to slap me when I see you next.
It is what it is, isn't it? No, not real. We're killing it, How close is everyone subscribed?
Yeah, exactly. Everyone's. We still got nearly 1,000 people watching. So if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe. I was going to do another hair joke. Then I'm not going to do it. We went down on a nice note.
I don't even know what a hair dry treatment is. You know how mean that is.
I'm gonna go and make a tweet right now. I'm gonna make a tweet complimenting KG's beard. Okay, just to put it out there.
Yeah, Faz is saying he's going to tweet a compliment about your beard right now. He's going to tweet a compliment about your beard right now.
Well, I accept it. All I'm saying is, I'm proud of you guys, because we're getting close. And who would have thought this tiny channel would become this?
Exactly.
So, yes. P58 betting.
Exactly.
Anyway,
yeah, exactly. We're killing it. We're crushing it. 258 settings, like you said. Yeah, exactly.
And yeah, well done, Owen. No thanks to Cam, though. So well done, everybody but Cam.
Okay. All right. That's the perfect way to end it. Right. Speak to you in a bit. Well, there you go. Little cameo.
The other day. He saw Cam the other day.
Little cameo from KG. Just to wrap it up. Nate H says, KG hair, let's not even get into it. I don't want to get in trouble again. Well, I'll read it. This is not me. This is Nate. He says, KG's hairline is like us winning the Champions League. Not happening. That's not me. Okay? That's not me. I did not say that. That's not me. We ended things on the right foot there. It's fine. No problem. Anyway, guys, look, we'll wrap it up there. That's what you love United. You never know what's going to happen. KG can just jump in like that. Quality stuff. Like I said, guys, if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe, bottom right-hand corner, as we get closer to 100K. Big things planned in the future once we get to 100K. And smash a like on the like button. We're out of here. Peace.